Precious resources are often fiercely guarded. Only a clever wolf will ever taste mutton. And the rules remain in place in the insect world. The lacewing is a graceful insect that some mistake for a delicate fairy. But their larval stage is an earth-bound grub and an accomplished predator. But how does it steal its favored prey from watchful ant shepherds? Instinctual cunning can help you get around unnoticed in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, I keep saying follow us on Facebook or Twitter. At least on Facebook, I don't think we keep that up. Follow us on Twitter.
If you want to see it, go to the website.
Yeah, if you'd like to see the artwork, go visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. I'm done talking about social media. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And a very special thank you to our patrons, to Tristan Taylor, Jesse Raspulich, Carol Raspulich, and Richard Kaspar. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on.
You can also see it if you go watch the videos on YouTube.
That's true. But we're hoping people from YouTube come here.
That's true.
Not the other way around.
Watch it twice.
Yeah, that's true. Do both. Like and subscribe.
And today we're talking about a big bug with junk in the trunk, but more on that later. And by big, I mean small.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you get a different length than me?
New.
This is a small boy. Yes, we're talking about the green lacewing bug. It's also called an aphid lion, which is a lot cooler than the bug deserves. I'm gonna call it here. We're gonna call it here the hungry hoarder, the hunka junka burning bugs, and of course, goldeneye, which will make sense later when I describe the fact that it has golden eyes. Would you like me to taxonomize this boy, this green lace boy?
Sure.
It is in the kingdom you know, love, and are in. Animalia. The phylum is Arthropoda. Class, Insecta. It's an insect. 6 legs, 3 sections. Squishable. The order is Neuroptera, which is lacewings and antlions and things like that. I also didn't know that antlions were actual animals, which is interesting. Antlions are like a major enemy in Half-Life, and I was like, oh, it's just an alien. But nope, it's a real thing. If you look it up, it's crazy looking. The family is Chrysopidae. The genus is Chrysoperla, and the species is Carnia. Chrysoperla carnia. Which brings me to my second favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature. I couldn't find a collective noun for the lacewing.
I'm going to be honest. I like nitty-gritty nomenclature more than
critter groups. Because you have a chance.
Because there's rhyme and reason. It's a thing. We're learning languages.
You can use a little bit of whatever your linguistic knowledge of Greek and Latin.
There's a thread of logic. There's no thread of logic in terms of entry. Most of the time. Sometimes there is.
But it is often fun to find out, like, oh, it's a murder of crows or a congregation of praying mantises or something. That's fun to figure out. But nitty-gritty nomenclature is the tried and true. And sometimes it's a lot harder to figure out these the meanings. and others. Sometimes I have to break the word up into its constituent parts and try to figure out prefixes and suffixes. So I'm just digging way deep into that bachelor's degree in linguistics that I don't ever use, and try to parse this together. So, Chrysoperla carnea. What does it mean? Does it mean A, pink, pearly, gold face? B, clear-winged predator? C, carnivorous crystalline wings? Or D, crystal pink hunter? So, pink, pearly, gold face, clear-winged predator, carnivorous crystalline wings, or crystal pink hunter? Chrysoperla carnea.
Gold face. Final answer.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct.
Michael Scarn. Nice.
Michael Scarn.
Yeah, it's an Office reference. There's going to be a lot of deep cut references in this episode.
Okay.
So let us know if you know where they're from.
I'll miss every Office one, but how did
that's
you?
the only one.
How did you figure out this one? It was because that gold face makes the least amount of sense.
That was a shot in the dark. Yeah, that's for sure. That was a shot in the dark. Lacewing, the crystalline wing or whatever, that was calling my name, but I just yeah, that was a shot in the dark. I did the one that said you said carnivore in. I was almost sure that would not be it because it makes the most sense.
Oh yeah, turns out carnea means pink, like carnation. And chryso is Greek for gold. And, well, chrysos, I think, is gold. And then making it chryso is like it has to do with the upper body facial area, or chrysop. I forgot exactly how it was broken up. But perla is pearl. So it's a pink pearly gold face.
Interesting.
Starring... Who's Goldeneye? Is that is that Pierce Brosnan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have not seen that one. But I have played the game.
It was like the most popular one when we were children in the Bond loving era.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch James Bond when I was a child in the Bond loving era.
It does have some it has suggestive openings, doesn't it?
I think all of the Bond movies. You get to
that theme song and your mom walks in. You can't really watch a Bond movie anymore.
And there's always a sultry sultry lady. Is sultry the right word? No.
Yeah, sort of.
There's always a lady friend in the Bond movies that's not safe for work.
What's this thing look like?
As a larva, it looks like an earwig. It's got a long brown and white body, black legs, 2 large hooked mandibles like a Tremor's worm, or a falling star beast from Elden Ring. It has no wings, and it's a ruthless killer, but we'll talk about that later. As an adult, it looks like a bright green dragonfly-ish thing, much smaller than dragonfly. It has long, thin green body, 4 transparent wings, so that gives it the dragonfly look, and 2 long antennae, and they have 2 massive golden eyes. But I did say that they were smaller than a
bread basket,
and bigger than a microwave. So how big is it?
It can't be smaller than a bread unless you're talking about.
It's the other way around.
The bread basket
you're supposed to
of
say
the world.
You're supposed to say smaller than a microwave, bigger than a bread box.
That's a big bread basket, is what I'm thinking. So welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in audio of yourself singing or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro, but that means we get to hear from an animal and cause us to guess what it is.
It's a Sisyphusian fate.
Yes. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
That sounds like Siren Head.
It's that one little alien that dies in a horrible fiery crash in Star Wars Episode 1 during the pod races.
Oh, yes.
Is
that was not even close.
Is that A, a katydid? Is it B, a mole cricket? Is it C, a bee? Or is it D, a Goliath beetle?
Katie did. Final answer.
I should have made B a bee, but I thought it would be funny to say. Is it C, a bee? Katie did. Final answer.
Yes.
The correct answer is mole cricket.
It
kind of looks like that guy that makes that sound. I saw one of these in real life, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" Because it definitely looks very alien.
I want to see mole cricket. Whoa!
Yeah,
that is weird. Oh, I have seen these guys. Actually, I've seen these guys quite a bit.
Yeah, they're pretty common, and they're just very alien looking. So when you see them, it's like, who is she? Who's that lady?
Oh yeah, those are terrifying though. You're just like, this is a mix between a lobster and a spider and a cockroach, and it's definitely got plans for me.
Okay, let's talk about wingspan or wingspan, if you like Disney.
Sure.
They're between 6 to over 65 millimeters. It can have quite a wingspan. Some people say it looks like a fairy because of these lacy wings. So how many lace wings?
Wingspan.
Yeah. How many lace wing wingspans go into the length of the Mississippi River?
Actually, a wingspan would be delicious. It would be seasoned.
The pan itself wouldn't be, but like a nice cast iron for frying up some wings.
I mean, if it's a cast iron that like absorbs the flavor, that's the point.
Yeah, you're gonna want to put them on the wings pan to lock in the flavor, and then throw them in the air fryer.
Yeah.
So here's a hint. The fastest time to row the length of the Mississippi River in a canoe took 17 days, 19 hours, and 46 minutes. And it was done by KJ Milhone, Casey Milhone, Rod Price, and Bobby Johnson. In April 2021, Bobby Johnson sounds like a British innuendo for a crime.
It sure does. Or he pulled a Bobby Johnson.
Yeah, you would have to pull a Bobby Johnson in the bait and tackle store if the rod price is too high.
A Bobby Johnson.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Because Rod Price was the name of the other guy, one of the other guys.
Yeah, the price was too high for a rod at a fishing store.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. That hurt a little bit. All right, I'm going to say it's 2,000 miles. I think we've talked about the Mississippi River river before. It's one of the longest rivers in the world. I'm pretty sure 2,000 miles is the number that just popped into my head, and I don't have enough room in my head for more numbers. So let's go with that. You said 65 millimeters.
That's correct.
Gosh, what is what is millimeters to?
That's 2.5 inches.
Let's just go straight to miles. Let's make this easy on me. No, that's actually not easy. Let's switch it over to feet. Okay. 50 million.
Final
That doesn't
answer?
sound right. Yep. 50 million.
The correct answer is 57,936,000.
Oh, that is a nursing school victory. That's an A. That's an A, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're right.
I did.
The old Mississippi is 2,340 miles. 3,700 kilometers.
Take that, Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, who had to raft down it.
So, let's talk about eggs. Let's have some eggs talk.
I love talking
And
about
by eggs talk, I mean egg stock. Eggs are laid on a thin 1 centimeter long strand on the underside of leaves. How many lacewing egg stalks go into the longest human hair? Here's a hint. And this is something I just realized today. Humans might have the longest hair on Earth. Contenders are horses and musk oxen. The average human adult taps out at around 100 centimeters or 39 inches, but individuals can grow hair much, much longer than that. Musk oxen have an average of around 40 inches. So let's take one more inch. And the longest human hair was achieved by... 1 second. Let me just get my...
When I try to picture an ox covered in 40-inch hair strands, I just think of Snuffleupagus.
It was achieved by Xi Jinping in 2004. She was only 13 years old. You know, children tap out on average with shorter hair than adults, and she has the record at 13.
It's like everyone's tapping out with hair. Like you've put it into a triangle or an armbar, and it's tapping out.
Yeah. The thing maxing out, I guess I should say. Why is human hair so long? And I think I realize it's because if you don't wash it, if you just leave it, if you live like a caveman, it will not grow that long. It'll grow long, but it won't grow like 40, 50, 60 inches. Because hair goes in cycles, and there's the follicle. The follicle has a growth cycle and then a recovery cycle. And in the recovery cycle, it like pushes the hair, like you lose the hair and then you grow another one. But it goes into the recovery cycle because of a lack of nutrients. Like the hair, literally the taps run dry on the blood flow in the follicle for that hair. So it needs a new one. You need to replace it. So if you take care of your hair, it can grow longer and stronger. And musk oxen don't care about that. So they're not going to do it.
So if musk oxen, man, that's hard to say. If they had like even the slightest sense of hygiene, they could just totally sweep the floor with us when it comes to hair growth.
And they'd literally sweep the floor.
Yeah, it's good to have them if you want cleaner floors. I have.
Well, they're making a mess
myself.
while they're sweeping it. So
it's like that monster from Monsters Inc. That it's like a slug that is responsible for mopping the floor. So he's mopping the floor and then just leaving a trail of slug behind him. All right, how many inches is the egg stock?
1 centimeter. How many inches is that?
You gotta put this into freedom units. I'm not about to do centimeters.
Inches is too
I
big.
My forefathers
There are
did not fight in the
centimeters
American
on
Revolution
your-
to still use centimeters.
Yes, they did. There are centimeters on your American-made measuring tapes. Probably.
No, there aren't. I scribbled them all out with a pencil.
You scratched them out with a.
Yes, I
With a freedom
scratched
fry.
out all the with a freedom fry.
It's 0.3, almost 0.4 inches.
All right. 300 egg stalks.
Final answer. That's the end of your egg
Go
talk.
to the length of this person's hair.
The true answer is 562 eggs talk.
Oh, that's long hair. Though, is that like 15 foot
Ping's-
hair?
Chi Ping's hair was 5.6 meters, or 18 feet and 5 inches.
18 feet.
Yeah.
That's annoying to have. That would be annoying to have. That's Rapunzel
Well, she
hair.
certainly has it in a braid, I'm sure.
Still, it's got to weigh a lot.
Yeah. I went on a kind of a deep dive. Can you guess, in terms of hair color, who has the most hair? The most amount of hairs on their heads in terms of hair color. So you've got
What?
blondes,
Like, how much-
brunettes, black hair, and red hair.
How
Who
much?
has the most hair?
Which individuals have the most, or how much? If you
Which
took
hair
all the human
color?
hair on Earth and put
Oh, no,
it,
individuals.
Oh.
Basically, hair growth varies by color. But it's one of the factors that varies hair growth. So
oh, gotcha.
the
Because like
average.
obviously the answer would be black hair, because that's the vast majority of the world has black hair.
Oh, you mean like if you combine them all? No.
Yeah,
I'm talking
but-
about on an individual head.
Huh. I don't know. If the answer is interesting, I'm gonna go with redheads.
That's incorrect, and it's the most incorrect because redheads have the least amount of hair. But the most
Never
amount
mind.
of hair is blonde. The second is brunette. The third is black. And the fourth is redheads. There
See,
must be a difference between African black hair, although there's a lot of Africans have brown hair. Or like dark brown hair.
But you have like Indian hair is like really
Yeah.
thick and full. So like that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, that's a lot of, but maybe that's not a lot of hair follicles. It's just really good hair.
Color is just one of the factors. I'm sure like country, like national, like origin is a huge factor as well.
Yeah, and then there's anime hair, like pink and blue and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Naturally
who
that
knows
color.
how many hair follicles are in that spiky mess?
Okay. That's all I got. Do you have any fast facts before we get into the major fact?
I do. So despite the fact that you mentioned the Mississippi, and the longest hair was that was someone
Chinese.
from China. The green lacewing lives exclusively in Western Europe. From Spain to the south to Norway in the north, to Greece in the east. That all worked really well, by the way. And that was unintentional. But yes, Western Europe. As larvae, they are ravenous hunters. They feed on aphids and other small insects. They can even kill and eat larger insects like caterpillars, or they even eat each other. They will climb onto their prey and inject them with digestive enzymes, like stomach acid enzymes, that will liquefy. I wrote ligwify, which is that sounds somehow makes it sound even grosser, but liquefies their insides and turns them into a hard shell smoothie. It's a lot like how spiders kill and eat their prey. They will paralyze them, and then basically dump a bunch of digestive fluids into them, turning them into just melting them, but they still have their carapace, so it's like, I just got like a coconut that you just break open at the top and stick a little umbrella in there. But you're also drinking your own stomach acid, so, there's always that. There's always a downside to liquefying your prey's internal organs, and I think that's one of them. As adults, they communicate with vibrations. They are not particularly strong flyers, despite having 4 wings, which is twice as much as birds. So no excuse there. Their golden eyes that we mentioned earlier have a very high sensitivity to green, which allows them to recognize fresh green leaves. And that is usually where they can find aphids, and also a good place to lay eggs. And also just a good protected place. So they're looking for fresh green leaves, and their eyes help them do that. The larvae are actually used as biological control. Farmers will introduce them and to kill aphids and other insects that attack their crops, that eat their crops, because the lacewing doesn't eat plants; it's a predator. But I think I feel like humanity should have already come to the consensus that using animals to combat the spread of other animals, it just so rarely works well. It's like, oh man, we have so many lilies in the southeastern United States. You know what we need? Hippos. We need lots of hippos to eat them all. We have so many of this small snail it's just eating all of our plants. We should get giant African land snails and bring them over here to kill all of the small snails.
It's really we already knew this with the lady who swallowed the fly. Like, that was to teach us that exact lesson.
That is an age-old teaching. That is an adage from long ago that's not how you handle these types of situations.
It sure isn't.
But all that being said, it seems to be working. Because they actually have a pretty short lifespan. After hatching, the larva will eat and molt 3 times over the course of about 3 weeks until they spin a silk cocoon under a plant leaf, and 2 weeks later, the adult emerges. And so altogether, they don't live for much longer than a couple of months. And they don't pose any threat to the crops themselves, and they tend to not stay in the same place if there is no more food. So they will eat all the food in the area, all of the eliminate the pests and the aphids, and then they'll move on or die out, and their generations will move on. So it's not like now we've introduced this predator and now we have these predators all over the place, like the other situations I mentioned. So it's so far
friend
going well. Your garden friend, your garden golden eye. And I will leave it at that. That's all I got. Okay. I'll lateral it over to you for the major fact.
So, I'm calling this major fact. Do you know what it means?
It means to throw the ball to someone after the play starts. Like you toss it to someone, and they have to be like in front of you, I think.
No, the opposite.
Oh no, they have to be behind you. Yes, that one.
Yeah.
So you can kind of just like throw the ball from person to person after it's been thrown already.
So if you're behind the line of scrimmage, like the quarterback is behind the line of scrimmage, and they can throw the ball forward. But if you pass the line of scrimmage, you can no longer throw the ball forward, but you can throw it backwards or laterally, like literally like side by side. So like if you get a new job and you're making the same amount of money, you have the same benefits, it's a lateral move because you didn't make any forward motion. You didn't make any.
It's latitudinal.
Yeah.
Well, latitude
But
is up and down.
I'm calling this major fact a bug in sheep's clothing
Mm.
because they wear wool. I'm just kidding. If you live in the South, you will see lacewings. I couldn't find a lot on the southern lacewing or any the lacewings and the bugs, the larval stage that you might find in the South. So that's why we went with a green one, and it's in Europe. But if you're in the South, like we are, but more specifically in Mississippi and some of those classically southern states, you may see a piece of lint or a bit of forest debris rolling across the grounds, or maybe on a branch, most likely on a branch. But this pile of junk isn't flowing in the wind. It's moving with authority like the oldest of the family. That's the first reference for people to tell me if they knew what it was. The lacewing larva stage is often called junk bugs or trash bugs or garbage bugs, and it's not a put down. It's because of behavior. This is because of the fact that they collect garbage and strap it to their backs like the Yule of Londor.
I know that one.
I knew you would. I knew you would know that one. These little trash collectors, picking up detritus and carrying it with them like tiny hobos riding the rails is a cute concept until you take a closer look at what they're actually carrying. If you were to remove the junk from the junk bug and separate the pieces, you realize that the junk bug's junk is bugs. The carcasses of other insects hollowed out and desiccated. The junk bug
has bug junk
in its trunk, yeah. The junk bug is making a bug backpack, and not just any junk will do.
I know that one too.
So not only does the bug of junk have a trunk of bug, he keeps the corpses of his kills. Junk bugs are predators and that have really sharp, stabby mouth parts. So when they catch prey, they will slurp out the soft bits beneath the exoskeleton. Then the wrinkled up wrapper is placed on their backs and stacked in a way that's kind of whack.
I don't know that one.
It's
so
not.
The
That's just rhymes. Yeah, kind of. So
they're Michael Myers. They're
the
what's
village
the other
guy, or not the village. The butterfly. What's the butterfly movie?
The Butterfly Effect?
No, with Clarice.
Clarice?
Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill.
Oh, yes, Buffalo
What's
Bill.
that movie? Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, okay. I have not seen that one. But yes, I know the butterfly reference.
In addition to insect bodies, the junk bug might collect moss and other bits and pieces that are lying around. But why do they do this? Some suggest that they do it as a way to camouflage from predators, like sneaking around in a bush like a cartoon character. But perhaps the extra exoskeleton offers excellent armor. I don't know. But the real reason is even weirder. The junk bug is also called the aphid lion, like I think you mentioned that. You talked about the aphid lion.
The things that people call it.
Because of their favorite prey, aphids, like you mentioned. But aphids have watchful shepherds that don't like lions in their fields. As we know, ant colonies keep and protect aphids to harvest the sweet honeydew sweat that aphids produce. A junkless bug that's looking to drink an aphid milkshake might be swarmed and tossed off a tree like it was caught by an invader while enjoying the Oracle's Envoy's tunes.
What? That went off the deep end. You lost me.
So, I said a junkless bug, a junk bug that doesn't have any junk,
Yes.
and he's trying to eat some aphids, will be swarmed by the ants' protectors and tossed off a tree like it was caught by an invader while enjoying the Oracle Envoy's tunes.
The Oracle Envoy.
That's in Elden Ring.
Wow.
The white-headed snowmen with the horns in Hallowed Tree.
Oh, Oracle Envoy. Got it.
Yes. That's a very deep cut because you'd have to, the game doesn't tell you what those things are called.
Yeah, I did not know what they were called. They were just.
I guess it does. The Envoy's horn is the name of if you pick up the horn.
Yeah, they were just what's that toy that you hit and it just comes back?
Weebles?
Yeah, it's the Weeble Wobble Sultan.
Yes.
Weebles wobbles, but they don't fall down. Yeah, that's what I thought of them.
So anyway, the shrewd junk collecting bug will cloak itself in an aphid essence to sneak into the flock unawares. So it's literally a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a bug in aphid's clothing, trying to get into the flock of aphids so that the shepherd ants don't throw them off the tree.
Flock of Aphids is my favorite hymn.
Yeah. So
there really is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's like, I need to get to
this aphid junk that the husks of exoskeleton that's on their back easily doubles them in size. Like it's so much. It's a little like
it seems barbaric, but humans have been killing things and wearing their skin forever.
That's true.
So, it's kind of a thing that predators do sometimes. Smart ones, at least.
And it's not even just like it puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose again. It's not even just for some sick pleasure. Like it's for a good reason so that they can eat more and that we can not freeze to death in the winter.
Is that another Silence of the Lambs reference?
Yeah. It was kind of returning to the reference rather than
a second one.
Yeah. But that's all I got.
Interesting. This is another one of those situations where the larva is a lot more interesting than the adult, like the woolly bear moth and the Apomus beetle.
Yeah, well, the lacewing adult is a friend, and these guys are lions.
Do you think that like the adult ever tries to become friends and they're like, "We remember what you did in your youth"?
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm a different bug now.
But they're not. They still eat other bugs, but they just don't wear them. They've transcended that.
They're not gross about it. It's a bug.
Now, if you throw them off the Halleck tree, they can just fly.
That's true. Not well. They'll kind of like stutter and fall, but they'll get there. Despite having 4 wings, which I feel like get it together, you know.
They have 4 wings, and 2 of them are 4 wings.
Like God gave you extra wings. You should be sending it, not struggling. You didn't do the homework.
Bugs fly like with minimal effort because they're so light. All they need is a little bit. But the smallest gust can throw them off course. So they just kind of go where they go.
The Lacewing is like that student that is really smart and has a lot of promise, but they're not doing any of the work. They don't care, and so they're slacking in school. But they have potential.
Mm-hmm. Because they have.
So
4
I'm just
wings.
Yeah, they
But
have
bugs,
all of this all this potential, all this talent that's just this sitting there, and they're just not utilizing it because they don't want it enough.
No, you know what? It's like God's plan. Like a butterfly looks like it's flying haphazardly, but they can make their way all the way down from all the way down to Mexico, and back up to the Midwest. So, you may not see if you take a close look where the plan is going, but if you just zoom out, which is this show's theme,
Zoom out.
Zoom out.
But
just take a zoom out.
But you've got dragonflies, which are really good at flying, like flying really fast and then stopping and hovering. I mean, Evan Rude's got this, and that's why I know that the Lacewing has that potential, because I've seen it before in a student just like him. Now that student was me.
I was just like you, Lacewing, but
I'm Evan Rude.
Okay.
This episode's full of really deep cuts, so I'm sorry if this left anyone in the dust.
I don't know what Evan Rude is.
Have you not seen The Rescuers?
Oh, I have, 1,000,000 years ago.
Yeah, he's the dragonfly that flies him around the bayou.
Evan Rude. I was hearing Evan Root.
Oh no, Evan Rude. Not that that's a more sensible name. Yeah, that's the green Lacewing. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, so for you out there in Podcastia, work on your flying skills. Grab what you can with your mandibles and wear the carapaces of your slain foes like the green Lacewing here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
I didn't even plan any of these rhymes or references. They just kind of float out of me like Handel's Messiah.
I thought you said Candles Messiah.
Like Handel's Messiah.
Like Candles Messiah. What kind of candles are these? What are we talking about here?